I'm your host, Vadi von Bumstink, and today we're going to do, hopefully, a live debunking if everything goes to plan. So, I was forwarded an article which hopefully bring up. Let's see. Sharing indicator. Allow. That's hopefully working. Fuck's sake. That's probably not working. Let me try this. Bear with me, boys and girls. This is the first time I'm doing something like this. Okay, let's try this again. Bugger it, entire screen. That'll do. Okay, I sent this article here. Hopefully that should be showing that. But basically, I'll read it out anyways. It's Pentagon has reportedly found off-world vehicles not made on this Earth. Now, this is like what the New York Times, and it's quite funny how the cognitive dissonance on a lot of conspiracy theorists and all this kind of shit is fucking amazing. Can't trust the MSN. Can't trust the MSN. Can't trust the evil government. But when something comes up in the MSN mainstream media that proves their point, oh shit, look at this. They can't be lying on this one because. And when I threw that at the person, they basically turned around and said, but the government's going to confirm it. So, is this the same government that you don't trust as well? Hi. So in March, astrophysicist Eric W. Davis, now remember that name, boys and girls, because it gets fucking interesting later, who spent years working as a consultant for the Pentagon UFO program and is now a defense contractor. Right, well, remember that one, boys and girls. Gave a classified briefing to the Defense Department on what he called off-world vehicles not made on this Earth. That's kind of saying the same shit twice. Off-world usually means not made here. Sort of kind of like when people say ATM machine, which is automatic teller machine, or LPG gas, which is liquid petroleum gas, things like that. In other words, spaceships. Yeah, if I was really good at all of this, I'd interject here with a piece of footage from Red Dwarf with Remo going, aliens! Anyway, the bombshell quote came in the latest UFO report from the New York Times, because, they can be trusted, which has owned the beat for the past several years. In December of 2017, the paper reported the existence of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, which, we'll get onto in a little bit. A Pentagon effort to investigate UFOs. Now, okay, so let's go over the broader definition of the UFO, unidentified flying object. Right? By the literal sense of the term, if you look up in the sky and you see a jetliner flying past, if you can't determine whether that's a 727, a 767, or a 747, then it's literally unidentified and it's flying and it's an object. So, to the largest, broader scale of people out there, anything that's up in the air, if you don't know the difference between any different types of airliner, you can basically say it's an unidentified flying object. And it's funny when you go back through to the timeline of this too, because like back in the 50s, it was long cylindrical silver objects like cigars, stuff like that. I don't know, like a U2. And then it progressed onto triangular objects that were moving at great speeds and stuff like that, like, I don't know, the SR-71. and stuff. And you notice how, like, with the prevalence of like every bastard has a camera, you don't really see many of these anymore. But the really clear shit's only come around since the prevalence of like every cunt having a computer and being able to use editing software. But anyway, uh, this was supposedly shuttered in 2012. This article is hailed as historical inflection. If you understand English, you'll know what the word inflection means. It's an emphasis point in our attitudes regarding UFOs. That is definitely not a definitive statement there. That's more like, well, we're trying to really push back our belief, implied in the same message that the most recent ones do, well, the one does basically flying saucers are real. Basically, in a kind of a roundabout way, but this is a definitive article, remember, boys and girls. And if anybody wants to join, you kind of missed the window. I can't see you anymore. So just letting you know. This week's Times report says that while the program to study mysterious aerial vehicles was renamed and moved to a different part of the Pentagon, the effort remains active. And Luis Elizondo, which is another name you need to remember, the ex-director of the predecessor program told the Times that the new program is moving towards an era of transparency. It's moving to? Okay, remember that. It's no longer hidden in the shadows. Kind of never was. He said, indeed, the unidentified aerial phenomena task force is now obligated to make some reports public. They kind of always were. Elizondo, the Times reports, is among a small group of former government officials and scientists with security clearances who, without presenting physical proof, say that they are convinced that objects of undetermined origin have crashed on Earth with materials retrieved for study. Now, just on that statement there, right? Without presenting physical proof, they are convinced. Like, I don't know, suicide bomber is convinced his God is real. I'm convinced everyone's a fucking idiot. I can't be proven wrong, but yeah, without physical proof, they're convinced that, yeah, Roswell happened. Former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid is quoted in the article too, but his comments are hedged because you'll probably find later on that he doesn't really want to say what they want him to say. According to the Times, Reid said he believed, look in quotations, he believed, very loose, that crashed objects of unknown origin may, there's a possibility they possibly might have, you never know, have occurred. Emphasis added. And the reason why the emphasis is added because it's very strong belief. Right now, the difference between belief and actual fact is two completely different things. And may have occurred is not a definite statement. It could have and it couldn't have. It might have and it might have. You can't really rule that out at this point in time because we don't actually have the evidence to say either way. It's kind of the similar thing with the World Trade Center towers and when people say they heard explosions. And if you actually listen to the proper statements, people said, well, we heard a thump that sounded like an explosion. It's a descriptive kind of thing. Really need to read between the lines with all of this kind of stuff. Now, this is kind of proving that, like, yeah, okay, these people tell bullshit. This is how you find out the bullshit, right? And that any recovered materials should be studied. Okay, right. Well, sure. Okay. Davis, who once produced a report urging the federal government to research time travel through wormholes, and this is the monkey I first asked you to fucking remember, said that he studied the materials that he doesn't have physical proof that exist, and what he found led him to stark conclusions. We couldn't make this ourselves. I'll put it to you, I could make something out of resin that looks like marble, and this cunt wouldn't know what the fuck it was. All right, so let's go back to what is the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, eh? Just a quick Google search will bring this up. The Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or AATIP, which neither of those fucking things I'm going to continue to refer to because both of them are fucking obscure, is an unclassified but unpublicized investigatory effort funded by the US government to study unidentified flying objects or unexplained aerial phenomena. Now, remember, the broader definition of an unidentified flying object or an unexplained aerial phenomena is anything that you as an individual cannot identify yourself. You can't determine that, oh, okay, that's a plane, but I don't know what plane it is. So technically, and you will find too that the Nimitz encounters is a bit of malicious fucking, what do they call it? Malicious compliance in regards to that. The program was first made public on December the 16th, 2017. The program began in 2007 with funding of $22 million over the 5 years until available appropriations were ended in 2012. The program began in the US Defense Intelligence Agency. Now, what could be an unidentified thing that that the US government might be interested in? Maybe foreign actors with stealth aircraft. Maybe another country overtakes the US in their stealth technology, and that might be material that you might need to look at. You know, we have been shooting down foreign drones quite a bit lately, you know. So what are they made out of? We can't identify them yet. What kind of drone is it? Is it Iranian? Is it Chinese? Is it Afghani? Because, you know, ISIS also have drones. According to the Department of Defense, the program ended in 2012 after 5 years. However, reporting suggests that the US government program to investigate UFOs continued. This was confirmed in June 2020 with the acknowledgement of a similar military program, the unclassified yet previously unreported unidentified aerial phenomenon task force. And you will mostly find that large parts of this is just a continuation of Operation Blue Book. And if you really do look into that, it was like 4 fucking Air Force officers sitting in a bloody room waiting for some country bumpkin to ring up and say that he was a closet poofter. And the way he's explaining it was he lost some time and woke up with a sore ass. So it must be aliens, you know. And he just got cornholed by a drunk. And these kinds of programs do get shut down because after a while they prove the point of like, yeah, no, there's nothing really here and we can't justify $22 million to have 4 guys sitting in a friggin' room taking phone calls every now and then. A group including Luis Elizondo, who was a program director, co-funded a public benefit corporation named To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science. Remember that, boys and girls, because that sort of comes into play a little bit later. Now, origins. Initiated by the Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, remember that name, that comes up later on, as the Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Applications Program. Sounds a bit like, you know, hypersonic missiles and shit. To study unexplained aerial phenomena at the urging of Reid's friend, Nevada billionaire and governmental contractor Robert Bigelow. who apparently might be a male gigolo. With the support of the late Senators Ted Stevens from Arkansas and Daniel Inouye, from Hawaii, the program began through the Defense Intelligence Agency in 2007 and was budgeted for $22 million over its 5 years of operation. The United States Air Force facility known as Area 51 is located in Reed's home state of Nevada. After the review interest in the 1970s surrounding the balloon crash that is often referred to as the 1947 Roswell UFO incident, Area 51 was rumored by ufologists and conspiracy theorists to be the US government storage location for crashed alien aircraft to study. We now know, pretty much beyond a shadow of a doubt, boys and girls, that a lot of the stuff you reckon was unidentified flying objects was things like the U-2, the SR-71, the F-117, the F-22, and all this kind of shit. It's basically shit you cunts haven't seen before and, aren't reading friggin', aviation magazines and stuff like that, because I remember the YF-117 being a thing way back in the early 80s. It was called something else, but the basic design was already like, artist concepts and all this kind of shit way back in the 80s. So when it first came out, like in public, like during the Gulf War and shit like that, so yeah, they finally built it. When interviewed in the aftermath of the publicity surrounding the program, Reed expressed pride in his accomplishment and was quoted in saying, "I think one of the good things I did in my congressional service, or I think it's one of the good things I did in my congressional service, I've done something that no one has ever done before." Reed explained reasoning behind the sponsorship of the program, saying, "I'm interested in the science," which is mainly what this is mainly about. It's like, stealth technology, hypersonic weapons, and things of that nature, detecting hypersonic weapons, looking at shit in space, because you'll find that this is part of that as well. Like, we don't really look over the sky all that much, and it's a well-known thing that if an asteroid was going to come and clobber us, we probably wouldn't even see it coming because we're just simply not looking that far. Let's see. Reed explained the reason behind the sponsorship of his program by saying, "I'm interested in the science and in helping the American public understand what the hell is going on." And stated that hundreds and hundreds of papers have been available since the program was completed, and that most of all of it, 80% at least, is public. Adding, "I wanted it public. It was made public." So this whole pretext of the original story, this person's finally going to come and make a report making all this public. It's been fucking public since the fucking thing's begun, so Jesus fucking Christ. And you guys have not even looked at it. That's him saying that, not me, but I was thinking the same bloody thing. In a 2009 letter by Reed was published by KLAS-TV investigative journalist George Knapp and Matt Adams, where the senator states that the program has made much progress in the identification of several highly sensitive, unconventional aerospace-related findings. Now, to broaden on that, unconventional means basically anything that you really don't see on a daily basis. So, stealth technology and drones and hypersonic missiles and blah, 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 and woofy, woofy, woof. Highly sensitive, shit you're not supposed to know about, like stealth technology and whatnot. That will likely lead to technology advancements and the recommendations in creation of a special access program for specific parts of the program. Okay. Leadership and functions. The program was headed by Luis Elizondo. Elizondo resigned from the Pentagon in October of 2017 to protest the government's secrecy and opposition to the investigation of something that was fucking public the whole time. Stating in the resignation letter that US Defense Secretary James Mattis, yep, that's Mad Dog Mattis, that the program was not being taken seriously. Well, maybe not from what you were saying, Sunshine. Elizondo said on December 19, 2017, that he believed there was very compelling evidence that we may not be alone. Now, if you go and have a look into the Fermi paradox, you will find out exactly why we are alone. We're not alone in the universe. To say that there is no such thing as other life forms out in the galaxy is just fucking ludicrous. But to say that they've been here is quite fanciful, really, when you actually really do think about the logistics involved and the time frames and the distance that needs to be traveled and all this kind of stuff. Literally, if they had been here, they'd be coming here in fucking ships the size of fucking the stuff from fucking Independence Day. I shit you not. We would definitely know. The program, through a contract awarded to Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies, has generated a 494-page report that documents alleged worldwide UFO sightings over several decades. This 10-month report has not been released to the public, but focuses on the report's plans and extensive analysis of unexplained aerial phenomena. According to one former BAS contractor, the BAS report was only made a sample of, the report was only a sample of materials provided by the Defense Intelligence Agency as a monthly report, or as monthly reports were being sent to the Pentagon, in addition to an annual program updates that are all about unidentified aerial phenomenon or anomalous phenomena, which is just another fancy way of saying that shit that can't be explained but probably does have an explanation. The program was also funded and published 38 studies, whose theoretical studies cover a range of advanced, exotic, and theoretical aerospace topics, ranging from detection of high-resolution tracking of vehicles and hypersonic velocities. And this is where, some malicious compliance comes into the Nimitz tapes, because one of them is a seagull. You can see its wings flapping and everything, and if you actually know what you're looking through, with a lantern pod or something like that, you can actually tell that they're not moving very fast. They're not even frigging closing at very fast speeds. The water seems to be moving fast because of the closed aperture of the fucking actual camera and all this kind of stuff. So, and you'd probably find to lock on and track a fucking bird with one of those things is, it's a pretty decent achievement. It'd make the pilots go woohoo. Anyway, hypersonic vehicles to warp drive, dark energy, manipulation of extra dimensions. Yeah, it's not uncommon for the military to just go, all right, we'll have a look. No, it's fucking nonsense. We looked into it. Among the information that has been released by the program, several short videos of military jets encountering something they couldn't identify. The release of those videos were a part of a campaign by Luis Elizondo, now working for the To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science. Remember, I asked you, remember that name? Because, yes, we'll get onto that in a minute. Who said that he wanted to shed light on the program. That was unclassified, but generally unpublicized, but you could have found it if you wanted to look for it. The Navy confirmed the authenticity of the video, stating that they depict what they consider to be unidentified aerial phenomena. Malicious compliance. You can see that one of them's actually a twin-engine jetliner. You just can't identify what type of jet airliner it is, but you can see contrails and everything. And like I said, if you read the information in the video and you know what you're looking at, they weren't traveling faster than the speed of sound, and they weren't even closing it faster than the speed of sound, and you know they weren't even parting it faster than the speed of sound. It was like I think one of them was even sort of the closing or parting speeds were like walking pace. So like I said, yeah, like well, unidentified. I can't identify what bird that is, but we locked onto it. Susan Gough, a Pentagon spokesman. Oh, yeah, getting back to that, you'll find that like this is something that like the military does to fuck with people's heads. We like to fuck with civilians' heads with all sorts of funny pranks and shit like that. Anyway, Susan Gough, a Pentagon spokeswoman, confirmed that the 3 videos were made by naval aviators and that they were a part of a larger issue in increasing numbers of training range incursions by unidentified aerial phenomena in the recent years. Now, in the recent years, with the prevalence of drones and shit like that, China's got them, Iran's got them, fucking the Russians have got them, fucking Christ bloody mighty. And it's not like the Russians and the Chinese aren't probing like places, like the Russians don't fly over the UK or try and get into the UK and they don't come across the fucking, like intercepts happen all the fucking time, man. This is nothing new. Successor programs. In June 2020, an existing similar program, which you'll find is just basically a new name for the same thing, just so they can get more funding. Just like the last program was a continuation of a previous program, just now with a new name, so they can get more funding. And the last program was just a continuation of a continuation of a continuation of Blue Book. The existing similar program was acknowledged. The Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, the unclassified but previously unacknowledged program, was made public. In June 2020, a hearing of the United States Select Committee of Intelligence, the other fucking stupid long bloody abbreviation program, was confirmed in July of 2020 as a direct successor of the old one, and has been briefing congressional committees and aerospace employees, Reid stated in a reference to the successor program that it's extremely important that information about the discovery of physical materials or retrieved craft come out. Okay. Aftermath and analysis. While the United States Department of Defense states that the program was terminated in 2012 after acknowledgement of the program in 2017, the exact status of that program and its termination remain unclear. Elizondo commented that while the effort's government funding ended in 2012, the program continued with the support of the Navy and CIA officials, even after his resignation. And this is just like your same old black book operation kind of fucking crap where the CIA starts charging the public $50 for a fucking toilet seat and $150 for a fucking hammer and stuff like that, because the hammer only costs $12. Where's the rest of it going? To fund shit like this. And why would the CIA and the Navy be funding shit like this? Well, I don't know. Maybe because other countries are starting to catch up with our technology and stuff. And kind of would like to have a quick, sweet, secret look into that, before we actually go, yep, there's a problem there. Give us a shit ton of money. Reports in 2020 confirmed Elizondo's statement in reporting of the US government successor to the program in the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force. The materials studied by the AATIP have been subject to classified congressional hearings aimed at understanding and identifying the potential threat to the safety and security of aviators. So there's a pretty decent excuse. Now, what would these threats be? It'd be sort of similar lines to, like I said, drone incursions and shit like that. Don't really want to go and tell the American public right now that you're being probed by these countries that you're supposedly not at war with now, are you? The Navy has confirmed that in response to inquiries by members of Congress, they have provided a series of briefings by senior naval intelligence officers, as well as testimony from aviators who reported hazards to aviation safety. The contents of those briefings are classified. Senator Mark Warner, the vice chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, who participated in one of those briefings, released a statement requesting further research into unexplained interference in the air. Doesn't really sound like it's actual UFOs there. It's just like, well, we got this fucking drone, didn't have any markings. It came really close to us. Or I don't know, fucking, we're flying over the Sea of Japan and an Su-27 came flying right up close to us. And it's a bit of a fucking hazard because it's not like that shit doesn't happen. Like the Chinese and the Russians, when they do these intercepts, they do start flying like fuckwits. Unexplained interference in the air that could pose safety concerns for Navy pilots. According to Popular Mechanics, the Senate Intelligence Committee Brigadier General Richard Stapp, co-director of the DoD Special Access Program Central Office, testified the mysterious objects being encountered by the military were not related to secret US technology. So, like I said, this is like every other cunt's secret technology, not so much aliens. President Orange Man Bad has also been briefed on the issue, and he has stated, I don't have, I did have one very brief meeting on it, but people are saying they're seeing UFOs. Do I believe it? Not particularly. Mick West, science writer and skeptical investigator, suggests the public availability and confirmation of rigorous empirical studies by AATIP could change the entire UFO dynamic. It would be fantastic if there was some good evidence or something new something new to science, but so far there isn't. Several researchers, including Benjamin Ratford and Robert Schaefer, have pointed out that mundane explanations like misidentification of distant jets or ordinary contrails are probably behind the incidents reported. Astrophysicist Leon Gould has stated that those reports have a number of possible explanations, such as bugs in the code for imaging and display systems, atmospheric effects, reflections, neurological overload from multiple inputs during high-speed flight, which is something I kind of brought up again was another problem with the F-35. It's supposed to do the job that's typically done by a person or by a plane that has a second dude in the back seat that's operating all the electronics and shit. So the pilot can just do the piloting and the weapon systems operator can do all the weapon systems operating. Now you got that. Now they're adding things like wingman to the F-35. So not only is he supposed to be doing the Wizzo job as well as the flying job, but he's also trying to play a video game with drones. Yeah, it's not like pilot overload's been a thing, for quite a long time. Let's see. In a similar vein, physicist Don Lincoln, pointed out that while pilots of those reports may have thought they saw something they believed to be an unidentified flying object, since far more plausible explanations exist, he proposed that what these pilots are seeing is something with a more ordinary explanation, whether it be an instrumental glitch or some other unexplained artifact. On the 16th of January 2019, the Defense Intelligence Agency released a list of 38 research titles pursued by the program in response to the Freedom of Information Act request by Stephen Aftergood, who's never before good, director of the Federation of American Scientists project on government secrecy. One such research topic, traversable wormholes, stargates, negative energy, was led by Dr. Eric W. Davis. There's that name again. Of Earth Tech International Inc. Who the fuck are those cunts? I might look them up if I remember. Which was founded by Harold Puthoff. There's another name you need to remember. Who was formerly involved in Project Stargate. I think you'll find that's a bit of a hokey piece of bullshit. Another project called Invisible Cloaking was headed by German scientist Ulf Leonhardt, a professor at Weizmann Institute of Science in Israel. Yet another title, Warp Drive, Dark Energy, and Manipulation of Extra Dimensions, was attributed to theoretical physicist Richard Obuse, whatever the fuck, director of the non-profit Icarus Interstellar. One of those papers was released to the public by Popular Mechanics on the 14th of February 2020. The paper in question, titled Clinical, Medical, Acute and Subacute Field Effects on Human Dermal and Neurological Tissues, written by Christopher Kit Green, former CIA agent, forensic clinician and neuroscientist, who described it as focused on forensically assessing the accounts of injuries that could have resulted in claimed of encounters with UAPs. So, remembering, boys and girls, we're only just really finding out that, what's happening with blast effect on human beings and stuff like that. And we're actually finding out that it does have some neurological effects on people later on down the track. And how long have we been blowing people up for, boys and girls? In 2019, former Senator Reid, remember that was another name I asked you to remember, defended the legacy of the AATIP, saying, "When I was contacted by the New York Times, they said they wanted to do a story on UFOs and the money that you got, the $22 million. And I said, I'm happy to do the story as long as we're not talking about little green men. If you want to talk about the science, I'm all in." And that's how I looked at this. That's a fucking interesting statement. So it's a bit about the science, not little green men. Like I sound like a Skeksis there. Although the program was not named specifically, program leader Elizondo was quoted in the Huffington Post in late October 2017. Several days earlier, Elizondo announced his involvement in founding the aerospace science, paranormal, and entertainment company called To the Stars Academy for Arts and Science. Keep remembering that. AATIP came to broader public attention in December 2017 in 3 news stories in the Washington Post, Politico, and the New York Times. Now, isn't like Washington Post and Politico another one of those MSN things that you can't fucking trust? Because I know Huffington Post is like one of those grassroots kind of things, but like they're so big now, you can't really trust them either. But anyway, they say it's something that confirms your theory, so yeah. Anyway, the story in the Times includes doubts about alien visitation expressed by James Oberg, a space writer and UFO debunker, and Sarah Seeger, a scientific specialist on atmospheres of extrasolar planets. Actually, I haven't heard that term before. Oberg said, there are plenty of prosaic events and human perceptual traits that can account for these stories, although he welcomed further research. Well, of course, like any proper scientist would want to actually fucking, have their theories debunked and all this kind of stuff with proper actual science and evidence. It also reported that Robert Bigelow, billionaire entrepreneur and longtime friend of Mr. Reid, received most of the money allocated for the Pentagon program. The Washington Post story reported that Elizondo was responsible for the public release of footage taken by US fighter jets that appeared to show aerial objects maneuvering in inexplicable ways in the USS Princeton aerial object incident, also known as the Nimitz encounters. And as I mentioned, one's a bird, one's a twin-engine jetliner with contrails. I can't remember what the other one is. Got to go and watch it again. And yeah, like I said, if you know what you're looking at with, like, fucking lantern pod footage or lightning pod footage, whatever the fuck they were using, you can tell like what speed the aircraft is doing, what speed the encounter is doing, its direction, the plane's direction. You can actually get quite a clear picture of this if you know what you're looking at. Problem is, hardly anybody knows what the fuck all that information means, and that information isn't really sort of public. So go ask a fighter pilot. Don't ask a conspiracy theorist. Ask a fucking fighter pilot. Why would you ask a fucking garbage truck driver about neuroscience for? Because he might have been a neuroscientist back in Mumbai in India. Yeah, but he got the fucking accreditation from the Mumbai International Institute of Internet Sciences and shit like that. So still can't trust him. That's why he's a fucking garbage truck driver here. Anyway, the newspaper also stated that it had conducted several interviews with Elizondo and Christopher Mellon, who is associated with Elizondo in the private venture named that fucking thing again. In Politico, the story, in a Politico story, Pentagon spokeswoman Diane White confirmed that Elizondo had been director of the AATIP. Politico published a statement by an anonymous former congressional staff member that after a while, the consensus was that we really couldn't find anything of substance. So they did look into it. They did take it seriously. And as usual, there's nothing really there. They produced reams of paperwork, and after all, there was really nothing there that we could find. It all pretty much dissolved from that reason alone. And the interest level was losing steam. We only did it for a couple of years. In May 2019, Pentagon spokesperson Christopher Sherwood finally confirmed to the New York Post that the program did pursue research and investigation into unidentified aerial phenomenon, dispelling rumors that the program was only focused on theoretical physics. May of 2019, the New York Times reported that US Navy pilots fully briefed AATIP about encounters that they had with unexplained objects during the summer of 2014 to March 2015, while flying at high altitudes off the east coast of the United States. Nonetheless, President Donald Trump, said he had a short briefing with, and he's skeptical of the new that. Yeah, we've already been over that one. June 2019, The Intercept, which is part of the New York Times, by the way, boys and girls, published an article with an excerpt from an email obtained via FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. The excerpt called into question Elizondo's position at AATIP. Yes, AATIP exists, and it did pursue research and investigation into unidentified aerial phenomenon, Pentagon spokesperson Christopher Sherwood confirmed. However, he added, Elizondo had no responsibilities with regard to AAPIT program while he worked in the Office of Undersecretary Defense for Intelligence. Up until that time, or up until the time he resigned effective 10th of the 4th, 2017. So the Stars has attempted to clarify this with an email. The program was initially run out of the Defense Intelligence Agency, but when Lou took it over in 2010, as director, he ran out of the Office for the Security of Defense under the Secretary of Defense Intelligence. That's just like saying that fucking bloody what's his face, that bloody wrestler who turned conspiratard, fucking used to be a Navy SEAL. Now you're a UDT, man. There's a big fucking difference. In February 2020, Popular Mechanics article by UFO investigative writer and retired police lieutenant Tim McMillan said that Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies was contracted under the auspice of the AATIP program to study UFO reports and purported paranormal phenomena. According to Steve Aftergood, who remember was never before good, director for the Federation of American Scientists Project on Government Secrecy, that fucking long-ass bloody abbreviation, contract. Sounds like it was a good deal for the contractor, but it'd be hard to argue that either the military or the public got their money's worth. On July 23rd, 2020, the New York Times reported that while former Senator Harry Reid believed that crashes of objects of unknown origin may have occurred and that retrieved materials should be studied, he did not say that the crashes had occurred and that retrieved materials had been studied secretly for decades. So he actually didn't say that the crashes had occurred. He said, may have, but we don't actually have any evidence of that. And if there was anything recovered, yeah, sure, why wouldn't we fucking study them? The news reports also repeated a claim by Eric W. Davis, former employee of Harold E. Puthoff, co-founder of the UFO promoting company To the Stars. Remember, that's what they say, not what I said. UFO promoting company To the Stars. That off-world vehicles might be in the possession of the US government. This is kind of like some dickhead coming along in like the late 90s, mid 2000s going, you know what the new big thing's going to be, boys and girls? Computers. Because it's not like they've been saying that like UFOs have been in Area 51 for like fucking, 70 years now? Like, crying out fucking loud, man. Any case, so like, what's this To the Stars mob, right? To the Stars Academy of Arts and Sciences, or shortened as just To the Stars or TTSA. Ta-ta, shit-ass. Is a company co-founded by Tom DeLonge, a guitarist of Blink-182 and Angels of Airways, Harold E. Puthoff, Jim Semivan. The company is comprised of aerospace science and entertainment. Aerospace. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Any case, very interesting digital article. What the fuck did I do with my lighter? There we go. Company founded in 2017 as a public benefit corporation by Jim Semivan, former intelligence officer with the CIA. Harold E. Puthoff and Tom DeLonge. The entertainment division was created by acquiring DeLonge's previous media company called To the Stars, Inc. In September 2017, the company began offering the public $50 million worth of stock through regulation of A-plus equity crowdfunding campaign. According to the SEC findings, as of October 2018, only $1 million of those shares, or $1 million of those shares, have been sold, and the company has had a $37.4 million deficit, largely from a stock incentive plan for its employees, prompting Ars Technica and Vice to question the financial sustainability of the company. Entertainment. The entertainment leg of To the Stars, often referred to the Stars Media, publishes albums, books, TV shows, and films. To the Stars, the origin of the company was the original company that it was folded into, the current entity in 2017, was announced in 2014 to be a record label. Yeah, yeah, okay. Which debuted with Angels and Airwaves, fifth studio album, Dreamwalker. Who the fuck are they? I mean, like Blink 182 hasn't been relevant fucking over a decade. So who's these Angels and Airwaves? Sounds like something when a fucking nun farts or something like that. Anyway, DeLonge's first solo album, To the Stars demos, Odds and Ends. The following year, it expanded to publishing the books, graphics, and fucking Jesus Christ. You know what? I'm going to cherry pick some fucking crap here for a sec. Because you can get the whole fucking point of that, right? It's a bloody entertainment business. Science and aerospace divisions devoted to the outer edges of science, such as investigating unidentified flying objects. Harold E. Puthoff describes their goals as imagine having 25th century science this century. Get rid of religion. You might have a crack at it. One of the potential projects this company is working on is an electromagnetic vehicle. Okay. Vice reported that the company would participate in the investigation of UFOs and other fringe science projects, and that many of the technologies and or phenomena being researched by the company are based on highly speculative theories that toe the line of pseudoscience. To the Stars has detailed the risks involved with its research to potential investors, including the possible failure to produce results in areas such as beamed technology propulsion, launch systems, and telepathy. So pretty much what they've gone and done there, boys and girls, is this is a giant fucking con, and they're just running around trying to get investors like the dumb shits who fucking invested in Theranos and stuff like that, just so they can get a paycheck for as long as they can milk the freaking cow for. And when nothing happens, they're like, oh, well, we did tell you right at the beginning, we might not find shit because we already know it's bogus. Some sources have opined that the To the Stars is responsible for reinvigorating public imagination of UFOs, including Ian Hazen of Mutual UFO Network, Dan Zark of the Washington Post, for his work at To the Stars. Tom DeLonge was named UFO Researcher of the Year 2017 by UF hunting organisation Open Minds. Who the fuck are they? Anyway, despite the company's work being primarily associated with ufology, don't call us ufologists. All right, we'll call you a fucking crackpot instead then. Don't call us a crackpot. What would you like to be called? Something serious? Okay. Luis Elizondo has stated, none of us at TTSA ever considered ourselves ufologists or a part of the ufology culture. In fact, most of us come from the US government background, both defense and intelligence. Vice reported that the company's partnership with the US Army may mean that it fancies itself as a military contractor. Fuck, where'd we see that before? Oh, hang on a tick. Let's go back here. Eric W. Davis, who spent years working as a consultant for the Pentagon's UFO program and now a defense contractor. But the organisation swings between being contenders for military contracts and a UFO research organisation. So, when you need to take them seriously, they're just like, no. We can justify our bullshit with just a UFO research organisation. But when they actually want the money, they're a military contractor. So that's how that works, boys and girls. So, yeah. I think I've just fucking pulled most of the peanuts out of that bastard. Okay, so I'll just yeah, go ahead and address the comment section. Sorry, boys and girls, I did tell you right at the beginning I couldn't see shit for a good long while, so... hello, Aunt Jack, hello, Penoid, hello, Dash Fat Bastard, and Batman. And Dave. Thanks for joining us. Let me know what you think in the comment section and all this kind of crap. Because I think I've just proven me point here, boys and girls. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one.
Boobies.